Actually, Janet very ably managed to cover a question I had about the seismic activities that could be engendered by these pilings that are 4 feet in diameter, driven 60 feet into the ground. Thank you very much.
My name is Louise Steiner, and I thank you for holding this meeting for public input. Yes, I would like to know how many people are here that are opposed to this project. Please raise your hand. How many people in this audience are for it? Against, these are against. Now, who's for the project?
Good evening. Thank you for holding the hearing. I'm Leslie Purcell. So I just have a couple comments. As was mentioned before, Marina Del Rey is a public resource. It's supposed originally to be a lower cost visitor serving recreational area. And if you look around here, there's still some of that, but there's an awful lot that has gone in a different direction. And this would be another project that would be building massively on what was partly once a wetland, and there's still a fragment of it left. And we are trying very hard to preserve the part that's left. It's in state hands now, and it's, as Jeanette mentioned, going through an EIS process. Now, there's never been an EIS done on the marina itself. And I believe it's about 65 years old, and it seems like it could be time for that to happen. So many projects impinging on the water and the runoff, and the fish are really a problem. There were hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of fish yesterday killed up the creek channel, Iona Creek Channel. I have pictures, other people have pictures. Apparently, biologists are looking into possibly what happened, but there's a giant die-off yesterday. So there are issues here that are very important, and we hope that you will take this seriously and consider doing a full EIS, not just on this project, but bring in there are many more projects that are in the offing, permitted, and coming up imminently. I'm reading through one of your documents and notice that you sent out that said proposed activity for which a permit is required, basic project purpose, to determine whether the applicant's project is water dependent. And then it says, because no fills are proposed within a special aquatic site, identification of basic project purpose is not necessary. I don't understand that. It seems like it is water dependent. There was a discrepancy between what the developer consultant said. He said 375 slips, dry dock slips. In this document it says 345. The pile driving would be a huge impact on wildlife and birds and seismically and just on other buildings in the area, I think. And it would disrupt the water and the marine mammals, they're on the docks and in the channel, in the harbor. So there are so many considerations here. These pilings are huge. I had one other thing. Oh, right, the noise and the vibration. And also, if you look at the picture of the proposed facility, it looks like it's a lot of glass. I don't really know exactly what the material is, but big walls of glass like that kill birds. They fly into it. They see it as being reflective of the sky, and they think they can fly into it. So that's another consideration.
Gentlemen, my name is Joe Ferris. I live in an adjacent city, Santa Monica. And I haven't done substantial research, but my gut tells me we have enough development in this area. Traffic is severe and getting worse. And I just want to share with you, when I was a kid, I was privileged to have a 12-foot skiff. And when I didn't show up for 2 months to take that boat out, my boat was put in a dry stack. And that was so they could put other people into the water and have them water ready. And I think this is a great scheme if you want to make money, but all the impact doesn't hold water as far as I'm concerned. Thank you.
Colonel, staff of the Army Corps, United States Army Corps, Los Angeles Division, Regulatory Division, welcome to Marina del Rey. We have been waiting for a long time for your presence and appearance on our public lands here. I feel like I'm in a movie and I see the uniform and the cavalry has arrived and it's about time. What has been happening in our harbor is egregious, and we need your direct involvement now to put this ship in the right form. House Document 389 and Public Law 780 are truly guiding documents on how this harbor was supposed to be, on how this harbor currently should look, and we have lost our way. And again, we are very glad that you are now finally here to set it straight. This valet boat launching facility, this state-of-the-art facility, where the public benefit is severely outweighed by the substantial impacts that would occur by it actually being constructed. We need you to thoroughly look at this project and understand that there are severe impacts, significant impacts, going way beyond what an environmental assessment or an EA would do. This will not be something where the Army Corps would simply say is independent utility. How will Boat Central facility function, including the launch, retrieval, reservations, maintenance, technology? It is a sad commentary that we have such a technology-advanced facility being proposed, and not one of us here can see how this technology is going to work. In fact, when we came to your offices in downtown Los Angeles, we asked the same exact thing, and no one knew. And I think that needs to really resonate with the Corps. If you don't know how it works, we of course can't know how it works. And if no one knows how it works other than the developer saying it's going to work, he's saying launch times are somewhere between 5 and 8 or maybe even 10 minutes. That's a pretty huge caveat we cannot afford. And we'll talk about affordability later on. So public concerns are many. Disruption of public launch ramp you've already heard about. Structures that extend over the water, 97 feet into the water in Marina del Rey. Reduction of use of pedestrian waterways. Protection of Native American cultural resources, impacts of wildlife in the Biona wetlands area, water quality impacts, air quality impacts, shade, shadow, wind, structural integrity of the bulkheads. I mean, it goes on and on and on, and a lot of this, even in the EIR, is simply just not addressed. Clearly what is needed is an environmental impact statement. Our harbor was created with taxpayer funds. A lot of those funds were from the Rivers and Harbors Act. The federal project took 6 years to build the main structures, and nearly 11 years to fully open to the public, all with taxpayer money. Since its opening, the project has somewhat changed. Not somewhat, but now in the recent years has completely changed and been overturned. With parcel 44, right over this way, within 1,000 feet being proposed, Fisherman's Village now being proposed, parcel 9 across the way, parcel 10, parcel 15U, this federal project is undergoing a major facelift. And you cannot say that this is independent utility or a simple environmental impact statement, or an environmental assessment. This is an environmental impact statement. This is a clear definition under NEPA. That you've got all of these projects in one very, very closed area. There is no way you can do an EA and say that it is somehow going to gonna be enough. There are too many cumulative impacts that are not gonna be addressed in a simple EA. Public safety. That public launch ramp is very busy, especially during summer times. When the boats come in, and we even have several documents to show it's on any given summer day, it's about 78 to 80% occupied. When those families come from all over Los Angeles to launch the boat, the last thing they want to do is, when they're launching, getting on the ramp itself, look up and see a 97-foot or 85-foot high structure that they're going to have to avoid. If I can just get a couple more comments in, please?
Very quickly.
Okay. On page 962 of the final EIR, there is no boat captain, and you all really should understand this, and of course the other regulatory agencies, there's no boat captain that could make that maneuver and avoid hitting this structure. Matter of fact, on that page, it clearly shows that there's only one boat tied at the end of the proposed boat central. But in other pictures, it shows that there are two boats, and we know that those are at least 10 to 15 feet wide. So we've got a lot of different things from the final impact report that are absolutely contrary to what we know is the truth. And we need you guys to really look at these cumulative impacts of this project. Understand that, for the most part, you don't have any proponents here. You have most people, and this is the very few time where the developers have gotten together and said, we don't want this project, and the community doesn't want this project. If you have the developers and the community saying at the same time, that's very rare. We never have that. Usually the developers are like, yeah, we'll support you. But to have us all together saying we don't want this project, again, I've asked the question, who are the proponents on this project? Who wants it? And it comes back with the echo, we don't know. Who knows? So it's quite clear you don't have a lot of proponents on this project. It's quite clear the cumulative impacts are many, and we really need an effort by your office to get an environmental impact statement to really make clear what's going on in this public harbor. Thank you.
My name is Rose Walker, and I am not the expert like all of the prior speakers. Thank God for them. I came out here when they were starting to build the marina in '62. What you're getting is an emotional female here. I love this marina. I watched them build it and fall and build it and fall. I have watched from 1962 to today the business model they use for maintaining this marina, for the project we're here for, and all the other projects that I don't know if you know about or not, but you should. The traffic coming into the marina will be unbearable from all the projects. I want to say to you, the business model, the Marina del Rey is thought of, born by, and run by the Board of Supervisors, County of Los Angeles. The business model that it was originated with is faulty. Why? Because the Board of Supervisors and the County of Los Angeles, we the property payers, our taxes, we own it. But the Board of Supervisors, who call themselves bosses, and they're not, we are their bosses, we pay their salaries, they run it. This is how they run it. The County of Los Angeles owns the land. They give developers, someone asked me what's a developer? A developer is a private person, such as gave his presentation here today, who puts up a piece of property, be it residential, commercial, this, whatever, pays a lease, signs a lease for, I don't know, 40, 60 something years, and the time has come up now, so they're being renewed. From the minute they sign that lease, there is deferred maintenance. I don't care what the project is, residential, commercial, Fisherman's Village, which has been empty for years, it's deferred maintenance. This will be deferred maintenance, and that building can't be with deferred maintenance. I live in a high-rise building. Then they want to tear it down, and what they're doing now, and this is part of it, but you have to look at the whole picture. You can't have an EIR, EIS, whatever you want to call it, for the one project. The dirt, the filth does not know boundaries. It goes. It's in the air. So the deferred maintenance goes on for, now it's been 40, 50, 60 years, and everything you see that is the marina. Now they got the developers, be they the same ones or others, I don't know, I don't want to know, I don't want to know them. And they're coming in and they want to, this is my word, densify the marina. They are taking our city and they are building it out over the water. This is one of the great examples. There are plenty more. And they're in the pipeline and they're being approved and are approved. We got all kinds of shopping centers and everything coming out over our water. Please don't allow this to happen. It is so bad. The noise of construction. I'm a walker. We've mentioned boaters, we've mentioned bikes. I walk. I do a 6-mile walk. I can show you on my app 3 or 4 times a week in the marina. I've been doing it for years. It aids me emotionally, physically. There's lots of walkers out there with the bikers. And we can't walk during construction. I've lived through much of it, and I come right down and out to the water from where I live, which is the marina. And we can't walk during construction. And the construction, you can't breathe because they use diesel oil in the equipment they have, the heavy equipment. Do you know what this construction is going to do? I mean, what they're asking just for this building is going to cause tremors and trauma beyond belief. I'm sorry, I'm not the expert that you've had. They are wonderful. You should listen to them. You've got this person who's emotional. I've watched it being built. I've been watching it being mismanaged. I am still questioning why this is allowed to happen. I have begged, and we have all begged. I've been coming to meetings for 20 years down here now trying to save this marina. And so far it hasn't worked, so I've never seen you before. Thank you for coming here, thank you for listening. I have submitted for the record prior a letter on, I think, December 12th to Mr. Cohen, Mark Cohen. I have submitted on March 28th a letter to Bonnie Rogers, who has been very lovely to me on the phone, and I hope those are part of the record. Thank you.
I just want to say, as somebody who's been observing wildlife throughout the biome wetlands now for like 15 years, all the coming and goings of birds that fly and use the air to get around, and all the development, all this new development creates new conflicts between humans and their uses and the wildlife and creatures that live here. We have brown stingrays and swallows that visit the slough over there, which is where the little tunnel goes under where they want to propose this monstrosity building. And there's nothing short of what we need. What we really need is an environmental impact statement study to see how all these new developments will impact the actual creatures that live here, that are here today, that aren't being taken into consideration. They won't be speaking here. We'll have to speak for them. So there's too much development everywhere, creating new impacts between people and nature, and we need to put a stop to that. And that's just what I have to say.
Hello, I'm Rick Effinger. I run Marina Del Rey Sport Fishing. Nobody really pro or con on this. I think it's up to you guys to decide if it's going to fly or not. But I want to make it clear and for the record that we have specific needs for our sport fishing. Last year we took almost 50,000 people out on sport fishing and whale watching charters. Every last one of them departs from Dock 52. So if this project moves forward, before you even do anything else, you got to make sure that we are adequately taken care of and in the mix to give us a good, reasonable parking and boarding facility within just steps of our docks. And I've spoken with Gary Jones and Michael in the county several times about this. They're very well aware of my concerns, but I've never gotten anything down in writing and anything beyond just a verbal that they plan on moving us to parcel 77 or planning on doing this and doing that. But before we move forward, we got to make sure that we're taken care of because, like I said, 50,000 is a lot of people. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. Your U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Please know that I am definitely opposed to the proposed project. Unless there is a compelling necessity or significant public benefit, any additional development in the marina should not be approved. Losing parking space and risking the creation of serious environmental problems is not a good idea. Even though this project would interfere with fishing, and like other vegans, we would prefer that fishing not be encouraged in the marina, we're still strongly opposed to the Boat Central project. Thank you and God bless.
Greetings. Thank you to the Corps for hearing from the public on this. I am a resident of Studio City, California, City of Los Angeles, County of Los Angeles, and obviously here in the United States of America. The jurisdiction of the Corps is of great interest. This is a channel, and as many have mentioned, this is federally built initially. And this project does seem to be intended for a use that is not utterly, there's not a great demand for this type of structure that we can see. There are vacancies, as people have said, in the current boat slips for small boats, even as we speak. To build this kind of a project takes a lot of work and a lot of money, and it's important to understand whether an automated facility for dry stack storage like this could be functional and is functional. And in the hearings with the California Coastal Commission and at other times, questions were raised about where is this kind of a facility currently functional for small boats. And it was very unsatisfying responses that came forward. There was one place that I looked very hard. I went on a deep dive into the Google and came up with one facility in Port Marina, Florida, that is for large boats, and it is $225,000 a slip. So it's not the kind of public marina approach. It's more like a condo for your yacht. And to do this in a public marina is a real problem when you look at the proximity, as many people pointed out, to the public launch ramp. What you have is the possibility on busy times and holidays, and people made this very, very clear during PowerPoint presentations, that there would be a cluster problem, to put it in lay terms, when activities became, and 10 minutes to load a boat, there's real operational questions that need to be answered. And the person who mentioned that where is the engineering drawings for the way this facility actually works is a very, very good question, because there is not a bona fide system. I looked at the shards of information that were given and kind of went down the rabbit hole, and nothing like this is functional. One final point is this is a public marina, so the commissioners for the Coastal Commission and all of you want to make sure that things are affordable. Well, this was billed as something that was going to enhance or promote small boater recreation. I can't see how that would be the case, seeing as there's not one in the country that's functional for small boats like that. I just don't know how it could be affordable. And to quote one of the coastal commissioners who, kind of looked sideways as she was approving it herself and said, there's no way to make a boat valet pretty. And this giant box, given the limitations on the open space in this glorious environment, is a terrible mistake and should be categorized as a bad idea. And we ought to do something like leave it as a parking lot so that all the recreational groups in the area that currently make good use of that space and are able to access the public land can continue to do so. So thank you.
Good afternoon, my name is Kathleen Elliott, or evening, I guess it is. Thank you, first of all, for having this hearing. I really appreciate it. I know we came and asked you to have it, it took a while, but I really appreciate that you've done it and given people the opportunity to speak to you. I'm Conservation Chair of the Sierra Club's Airport Marina Group, but my first comments I'm going to be saying on my own. Basically, I think that if people haven't seen, if you haven't seen Dock 52, if you can drive over there on Fiji Way, I don't know if you've all seen it or not, but it's a huge, wonderful parking lot. You can just walk down and see the water, and people come and drop their car, park their cars, and they get on their bicycles and ride around the marina. It's just a wonderful, wonderful resource. And so I hope everybody who hasn't seen it drives over. It's Fiji Way is the next street over that way. It's about halfway down. There's a sign that says Dock 52. And basically, I'm very concerned about the impact on the wildlife that this would have. And the birds, we've destroyed over 95% of our wetlands, coastal wetlands in California. Over 95% have been destroyed from development already. We only have a tiny, tiny bit left, 5%. And the birds are trying to use these areas from when they migrate from Alaska to South America and back up again, and they stop here. And I'm concerned that this is kind of an open facility, and like Leslie said, there's glass that can hurt them. And it's like right where they would be flying, right down here along the coast. So I think that needs to be looked at. And also, it would, okay, I already said that. I would hope the Sierra Club, Airport Marina Group does support having an environmental impact statement done on this. That would be the best type of study to do, and we really hope that you would do that. And there's groups that have fought for many years to save the Ballona Wetlands Ecological Reserve here, and we were told don't even bother trying to save it. It's a done deal, Kathy. It's private. This is going to build all that. And, we fought because we just knew it should be saved. It's nature. We've got to start beginning to save nature. And so we did fight for many years. We spent thousands and thousands of dollars of our personal income to support those fights. We finally got half the land saved. So that's, that was that. Let me see. There's a sign-up sheet outside. If anybody wants to sign up, we can keep you informed of our progress on trying to save this land. Thank you.
Hello, again, I'll add my thanks to those of everyone else that you have had this meeting here, so we don't have to traipse all over, because it really does make a difference for us. So I live several blocks from here, and I've lived here 8 years, and I have seen tremendous development just in those few years. The big issue, I think, is that the County of Los Angeles views this as a cash cow. It is the proceeds from the marina are the second largest amount of money that the county has next to property tax. So they are developing not just this project, but many hotels and apartments that have been alluded to before, Trader Joe's and so on is proposed. Too much commercial and not enough for the original purpose, which was to have this be a public access point for the small people, like me, maybe like you. So I just think that Boat Central is out of scale for what should be in the marina. The fact that they are confiscating this much water, and in what I view as a dangerous position close to the boat launch, I don't think there's any way they can say there won't be a queue or a lineup. What do they do when boats come in? They may make an appointment to get their boat out, but when they come in as they will. And the same with people at the boat launch. You can't control that traffic, so I think it's nothing but a hazard going up. We need an environmental impact statement. I have worked in other jurisdictions, I've volunteered in other jurisdictions, and the cumulative impact is what is important, because it isn't just this one project, it's all of them. You have to look at all of them together, so we're begging you to come up with a cumulative environmental impact statement. And I really appreciate you putting a copy of these hearings or whatever is going to be generated at the public library, because then that means we can all go down there and not have to buy it. I'm sure it's going to be voluminous. So, and I know that other jurisdictions also do that. If this parking, I've gone fishing from there, I bike, I walk, and it's a huge asset to the community. It might not sound like much, but families don't have a lot of money. I went down to Orange County and they're charging an incredible amount of parking. Parking lots are empty. because families with a lot of kids maybe don't have money to do that. So this parking lot is very important, and if you force people to walk farther, go a half mile to another parking lot, they're probably not going to come. Who wants to come with a bunch of kids and a bunch of stuff and try to get someplace? So other speakers tonight have provided very detailed statistics on this toxic load, and I agree with that, because it was detailed how there is a channel that feeds right into the Biona wetlands, which is just across Fiji. Water doesn't know, it follows, it doesn't know there's a boundary, so all of that toxin that is produced by this and other toxic producing the boat launch and other things in the marina all go in there, so we don't want to add to that. Okay, so other people I think have referred to the California State Water Resources Board, which has ordered a cleanup of the marina, but it has not been done. That's of the existing, and it could cost 250 to 300 million. I guess I'll just stop now, but please consider this overall environmental impact statement for the entire marina. It would really do us a lot of good. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Nancy Vernon-Marino, and I am director of We Are Marina Del Rey. First of all, I'd like to add my thanks for this federal hearing here in Marina Del Rey. The Marina Del Rey residents, as well as county recreational users, have been largely sidelined by the local permit processes. And we were really happy to see that your own standard of review is the impact of this project on the public interest and not simply public benefit, which the county describes as more revenue from the marina. We would like to add our support for an EIS. I don't know if your determination was made based on the applicant's submissions or whether there has been an independent review. If the Corps has done an independent review, may we please see that assessment, that preliminary assessment that no EIS is needed, because we strongly disagree that most of the impacts that will happen on the public interest have not been addressed, let alone satisfactorily so. First of all, the displacement of tens of thousands of annual recreational users from this site in order to accommodate an experimental project, really, for 350 very elite boaters who can afford prices that will be more expensive, or at least as expensive, as wet slips. And we think that displacing all of these other recreational users, there's just no justification for that. The pile driving will dislodge known toxic sediments in the harbor floor into the waters of Basin Beach. There is also a conduit into the wetland directly under that parcel. And we would like to say that nothing less than 100% containment from both harbor waters and the wetland is acceptable. We already have really bad pollution. There is a cleanup program, and if this is going to make it worse, then it's simply not acceptable. We'd also like to ask you, do you have a land use table or analysis of how much of Marina Del Rey is under private control for private access, which this project would be, and how much is still open to public access and use and enjoyment? And we would like you to have some kind of information on that to see, and it's well over 70% is now completely closed off to public access. I mean, you can walk through an alley and you can get down to a sidewalk and stand on concrete and look at people's boats. And sometimes there's a bench that faces a public bathroom. But that's our, quote, public recreation that they're providing us in redevelopment. And we want there to be a benchmark that you can't take public use and convert it to private use. And you need to know how much of it is currently under private control and use. And you need to protect the public assets that we have, because we are getting less and less and less. And the county keeps taking more and more and more of our public assets and monetizing them by giving them to private developers, speculators, not local people, national companies that are speculating with our tax dollars. And this community is very, very much of one voice when we say, we don't want that in this community. We want public use and recreation and access. And we are begging you, please protect the very little that's left and know before you start your assessment how much of that is already gone in the marina. The federal mandate is that Marina Del Rey is for public recreational use. So that is also your standard of review, and we are asking you, know how much they've already taken, and please stand up for the public interest in this case. Thank you very much.